There you go.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not proud either.
Yeah.
I'm grooming her.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And they're gonna come and hold them so.
Money laundering, go.
I'm fine, yeah, I did your name, so money laundering. I love this one.
I want to dinner just all day, so I did get within like a mile. And I have a place there. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing when we're ready to go. Hit record.
Yeah, and you'll have to turn the camera on the mic on.
That's good.
It's all on.
Yeah, imagine, yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Remember that next week.
Oh.
Yeah, you could turn on. Yeah.
Over the years, I've dealt with trains, whether it's back, I can, or whatever, most of them, but there's stuff, you a couple people, usually it's because they can't handle being away.
Yeah. Oh, God, I dip into my other funds. Morning, Joyce. Good morning, other pocket. Yeah. Hey, Joyce. You want a long time no see, Larry?
I ordered that.
Oh, I'm gonna get them.
Right, no more than 10.
Who I know, a little bit. But I saw, I had some people that I couldn't watch. Yeah, no, so then after everybody left. I told American Heroes on my phone. Like after about 30 minutes, it's the same old crap.
Yeah.
He can't remember anything and he's just banging on his head, you know.
It's like, oh.
With a pen? Pen? What pen? Who's banging on his head?
Somebody asked.
I know, yeah, good, thanks.
Oh.
What's his name?
I said, animal. You know, you can feel it. I know, I do have. I was at this.
That, Biden didn't do very well. I didn't watch it, I wasn't. There's
I just wait for all like the comments and all the jokes and like who's falling asleep.
I watched it, but he actually worked as bad as I was.
Right.
Believe it or not.
Because you're gonna need to practice.
See, I was very
One thing I think that helped was how I got it.
Right.
Your microphone got turned off, and that was great.
Or not even.
Yeah, after, I don't think.
And shut them in. And have them back to me. I don't know. That part was. I was gonna that. It wasn't like. But, it was. It was almost like not like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, but it was interesting.
He investigated
It made
a
me-
robbery at my office.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of it was, just listen. I didn't look.
Yeah,
Listen.
so.
I could hear Biden talk a little better here.
No, no,
I had that thing going.
Yeah, he was there,
And then I just felt like,
the old
I
office.
was just listening, this guy over here, who knows what's going on, This guy. Too many people came across the border. And I looked at it.
Well, the funny.
They were gone, but.
I think they're very smart. Actually, one of the guys in the US, the president today.
That sponsored the 2024 today.
Right.
It's not I don't even know
Was one thing in the district.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to.
You probably win.
I'm Texas.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy, he said, whoa. Wait, Bob?
How about the water? Sorry to hear that.
Where they are.
Oh, yeah, oh, the thing, yeah.
Well, finally, there was that strong morning there.
Well, you guys said what this is. Don't tell them, here, run. It's nice.
I went in, we had his, story, I swept for it. Yeah.
I missed the funeral. You know, I usually forgot. So I'm like, I'm just like, driving like that, I'm saying, when you don't know, like. Google up, funeral, never be late.
Better not.
Yeah, right, so I was like, I'll stop a giant bird.
I was like, they're in my car. You know what?
But I looked for you, and you had already left.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let you know that I got them. So don't leave it open. You?
Yeah, it's exploded. Somebody.
Well, I don't. Exactly. And I definitely. That's what always.
Actually, we can speak to the driver to get.
You know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You guys, the first time. And then I'll stay. It's not Chapman. I think I'll try to take this one some. Yeah. Get this thing going. Welcome everyone. To a new Rotary year, a little early, couple days, I'm cheating, but we're gonna get this thing rolling. Welcome to the Magic of Rotary. So new banner. Good job, Brenda. So James, you want to lead us?
Good morning and welcome, Mr. President. Thank you. If everybody would join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. And now we're going to recite the things we think, say, or do the Rotary four-way test first. Second. Third. Fourth. And Mr. Past President, what is our fifth?
Yes, it's fun. Oh, sorry.
That's a one great time.
You still past president.
Good morning. Eileen,
Yes, sir.
you got a inspirational book for us.
I do, and this is from Paul Harris. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world. Let me start over. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by the results it achieves.
All right, we have got a full house, got a lot of visitors. So let's, Amelia, do you want to introduce your visitors?
I'd like to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Vincent, who is my guest today, and they're very, very interested in becoming a Rotary member.
I'm all about. You got a guest today.
This is Jordan, my son Jordan.
Eighth grader?
No, that's seven. He's
Sorry,
a
didn't want to
tall.
age you too much, Mom.
He's not even in seventh grade yet.
Well, yes, you technically
No,
will since you
The
graduated.
little guy.
Feel the love here.
Dawn, you have a guest today?
I do, my lovely wife, Eve.
I'm missing you, but I think everybody else should be good. All right, our guest speaker today is gonna be hopefully Susanna Johnson. That's our new sheriff of Snohomish County, so. Nobody's here yet, but probably told to kind of. Birthdays, we had a birthday last week of Anthony, but he's I think he's sleeping out of the fire.
He's sleeping in his car.
Probably not sleeping though.
No, he was up.
Anniversary is Lance and Carrie Morehouse. Celebrating 14. Close. I think today,
How many?
33.
Wow.
Is that right?
That's when our club started.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Announcements, we had a great, meeting the other day with some of us, and we worked on our president's citation. I think we're there. We're just hoping that Rotary, acknowledges that, so, do that. We got, we're a go for cornhole. I think I'll have Don will probably speak more to that later here, but, we're proud winners of cornhole tournament. So, we need, lots of help. We also have the corn booth at the same time, so, Rotary, office coming up quickly, quicker than we think. I think every year we always think we got a couple of weeks left, we're good, and then next thing you know, it's here, so. In typical Lake Stevens Rotary fashion, we pull it through and scramble and get it done, so. Let's do that again. Also a reminder, we have our corks and kegs coming up, and so we need people to start getting sponsors. I think Don or Rand, if I can ask you can you update that? It says 23, 24 on the form.
Oh, there's a new form. Let me get it to you.
Okay, yeah. I
I
did.
just have a place on the website where we could just go download that. Is that possible?
Yeah, if that's where I pulled ours up, is the website, but it's still.
Okay, then I'll send him the new one.
Okay.
So it'll be there by the end of the day.
Somebody tried to download the, bylaws and couldn't do it, so we got to figure that out. All right.
Yeah, that was probably me. I wasn't able to get any of
No,
those.
it's Kyle's. Okay, working on it.
I did share my first sponsorship in the day, so got that one.
Will you remind me the date of court case? 11/9.
11/9. Thank you.
11/9.
I know it's in November, but, yeah, I think that's good. Corn booth, we're still not up here. I think Brian was gonna help her with that, so, some things on that we probably gotta think about doing is, I think most of our, food handlers cards expired like the last day of Aquafest.
Yep.
So I know Rochelle was talking about maybe getting a group class together or something like that, but it's pretty easy just to go online and do it, so. If you guys wanna pull out your card and take a look, next couple of days, see when yours expired, I know mine does personally. That Sunday, so I'm not sure if it's Sunday at midnight and we can make it.
Typically, it's the end of the day.
Okay, then I think most of us are still good for that last day, but. I'll probably redo mine just to be, safe, so.
If you renew it before it's expired, you can go, I think, another year.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you have to renew it for 1 year,
Oh,
something like that,
so better do that.
I've never been for 2.
or 2 years, whatever.
I don't.
All right, let's do some reports. Treasurer's report, Lori back. Jack.
One more week.
Yeah.
He's making me do extra work.
Yeah.
Because I'm gone. Okay, treasurer report, everything is, we have money to pay everything at this point. But we need to make more money, we're gonna have more money to do for anything else. So, beyond that, I think we're doing okay, we got the new bank account set up. And, we're still debating on whether to do a different credit card system, so. People about that.
Yeah, so another reminder, the dues went out, so everybody get up with your dues. That helps us get money in the bank account. Good, thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
Secretary's report.
The next board meeting is gonna be a dual board meeting starting at 5:30 at Don's house, followed by a fireside
Is that also at Don's house?
at Don's house.
That'll be at 7.
And board members that don't show up on time get dunked in the water. Ron, isn't that what you said? I didn't show up, okay.
Under sergeant, I'll do it.
Yeah. We spent, one day, working on our service projects. It's been very intriguing dealing with the Rotary International website.
they changed the method of entering service projects a year ago. And I've been working on this. There's one little line in there that says, Rotary, and then you're supposed to just says where, and I put Lake Stevens Rotary, didn't work. I've been working on this. All I had to do is put Lake Stevens and everything went. The upside of it is that for this year, we have 2,073 hours of service projects. Now, 1,240 of that is Interact. And so they have done a heck of a job on projects, street cleanups, helping teachers, and a lot of other things, visiting, seniors at, one of their, homes. And, I think they even painted some rocks and then hid them around the property and then went with them to help them try and find a rock. I think they painted enough rocks for every resident to have a painted rock. So those are some of the things that they did. The other tough thing that we are working on is, somebody's gonna have to let me know by, Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. For any really delinquent dues members, the board has decided if they haven't paid, we're just gonna have to terminate them.
Jettison them.
Yeah, jettison, just like that. There's only one that's really bad, and we're working on it. Like that. It's, no, it's not you. We all know. It was interesting the other night, at, our, installation banquet. Dave Beskin told me that our current club membership has surpassed the Marysville Noon group.
Wow.
And he thought that that was a pretty big deal and wanted to know what we were doing. And I started laughing. I said, well, that may change by June 30th at 11:59. He laughed. He said, well, it may change for them too. So
It's got comments, our fifth tenant of our 5-way, we have fun.
yeah. And then the last thing is just kind of a help deal. The Lake Stevens Community Food Bank has got a fireworks stand. Amy, where are they at? They're on Amy and Brian's property. And
Down by the water,
yeah.
The
and
big
leaves-
gravel
yeah,
one.
at the house?
no.
Where the school bus now.
Next to the wooden, historical museum house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
And the funny thing is,
Yeah.
all of the fireworks were delivered yesterday, so Anthony slept in his car last night for security purposes, and we'll probably do that a couple times. He's got some other people that are working it. If you can do a shift and help them out, they need help. They go all the way through, I think they go to 5 or 7 o'clock on, July the 4th. So if anybody can help.
Who do we contact to?
Anthony.
Not you.
Nope.
Or Morgan, there's an online sign up for it.
Except Morgan, yeah, you can do the online, but Morgan is in Guatemala and won't be back until the 1st. I think. That's it. All right. That's enough.
We're gonna get you in the loop here. President-elect Brian Ruiz, what do you got?
Well, we did a storage, clean out, right? So we cleaned that sucker out, put in
Thank
some
you,
new
good
racks.
job.
It's not a OSHA hazard anymore, so it's a good sign. But so thank everybody who helped out with that. James got us fixed up on all of our signups. I got out. Don't even comment, just going into, I don't know how to do that. I tried to delete stuff. I was so scared I was gonna mess something up. So James, thank God, got everything taken care of. So anything on there now is sign upable, right? So you can sign up now for the stuff that's on there. Well, so, no, corporate probably, we gotta figure out all the shifts and everything.
Well, yes, it's already up there.
But it's up, but I mean, I wouldn't sign up for anything yet until we're showing. gives their stamp on everything.
We're limited to 5 notification events. So you have to delete or you have to work on it.
So to clarify that, he's talking about the volunteer signups,
Yeah.
and that's different than registering for an event. So there's signups to help at the event, which is what the farmer's market is, versus attending the event, which is what you would do if you want to go to the fireside at the Iverson event. Just to let them know you're coming.
So a great thing that we'll do here out is whoever does what I do, James needs to teach them that because it'd be beneficial to
Yep.
all concerned. Especially to the temperament of the poor person who's trying to figure it
With
out.
Cheryl, perfect.
Yeah, and that's it.
And we want to keep it fun.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you. Past President Don, you want to talk about your,
Yeah.
our cornhole tournament now?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we got a plan. We decided to do the cornhole on Sunday, for multiple reasons, but the two main ones is the street, Main Street right in front of our corn booth is an available spot that actually hold the cornhole tournament, which is really our dream from the very beginning. It's like the two got to go together. But unfortunately on Saturday, there would have been a Fed race right through that, which we could have accommodated, but the other was just, to kind of add to the festivities on Sunday. Saturday is so busy already with the parades, all that kind of stuff. So, it should be fun. We'll have up to 8 courts, if you will, set up. And, that allows for up to 20 teams to sign up. They'll sign up through AquaFest. AquaFest will handle kind of the sign-up aspect of it. But we will need to have, you know, a small crew of people available, you know, to assist. And the nice thing about it is being right next to the corn booths, we can kind of shift back and forth to help as needed in both places. So let's just hopefully get a good sign up on Sunday. Because we'll have a little bit bigger. And I have no idea. I guess I better go to the 4th of July Chambers event just to see how many people you need, you know, to run something like this. So anyhow, instead of beanbags, are the participants going to throw a coin out?
That's the.
Yeah, that actually would be kind of interesting. Better if we don't butter up.
Yeah. Just a cornhole tournament. Are we gonna be doing track?
Yeah, I would imagine we can get signed up online, but before we do that, we need to kind of figure out how the teams will work. But, if you think you're gonna be willing to help, just Sunday, and we'll probably break it into 2 shifts so that whoever does help will get half of the day to actually enjoy AquaFest. So they'll make it.
We're not gonna do trash.
We're not.
No, we're not. A scout troop is doing the trash. Oh, like one.
Yeah.
Same with last week.
So Amy and I, actually, and Brian, were at farmer's market this last week, and we kind of thought that obviously we could do better at promoting what's to come, that Rotary is going to be doing. So even when we're out in some of these social settings, we could maybe start promoting, you know, that we're coming up on corn booth, we're coming up on cornhole. How can people sign up? We had a lot of engagement when people were there. I mean, we had a lot of people we were pulling in, and a lot of people don't know. I think, you know, like even people just don't know that they can go on, you know, our website, or they can go on the, like, even AquaFest website. So I feel like if we're there just as like public, you know, information givers, so, you know, even having Amy had a great idea, putting out some cornhole and just kind of having, you know, Jordan out there throwing cornhole, you know, just to kind of like get some interest, you know, so. Yeah.
Oh, Rand made a flyer for the cornhole tournament, so you can probably print those out and have them out.
And we have don't we have a blow up corn, like, you know? I know Jordan would love to do that.
Plus we have the,
No more.
I mean, just.
No, we don't.
Draw the eye in, just to get people engaged.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And one more thing on the tournament,
We actually have an agreement with Chamber, hopefully, latch on to some of their sponsors. Because we need a personalized cornhole set for each sponsor. And, so we'll probably get a few sponsors indirectly through the chamber that want to pay us a fee to have their boards in our tournament. But be thinking about businesses around that we might want to, approach as a potential sponsor. And, we don't know how many we'll need at this point, but we'll probably know within 2 weeks.
What is the sponsorship?
It's $500, if you don't have a board already. And then you keep the board set. So you
As a business owner, you pay $500 for a set of boards,
correct.
then you get to keep.
Yeah, and the boards will be
And there's,
personalized with your company.
and they're nice and heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So there's only other aspect of it. This is where the chamber comes in. If you're willing to have your boards used the next year or for the next event, you get another $300, or you charge another $300 for them, but they bring the boards. So, in other words, it'll cost us about $250 to put together a set of boards. If they already have it, then we don't need them to have it full.
The only thing that you're gonna have to keep, you're gonna have to keep on Matt. Because I talked to him yesterday, and he said, oh, yeah, I forgot to do that.
I'll keep on.
So, Matt is a little bit of a procrastinator. He's got a great heart, but he is a procrastinator, and so you have to keep on.
You forgot to do what?
Send a notice out to his sponsors. that
He's
they
had-
have,
He's getting some boards wrapped as we're speaking. I dropped off the previous rotary boards. Actually, we have 2 rotary boards, one from the previous year and one at, they were at Peyton Kluger's place and he dropped them off to me. So I took ours down and gave it to him, and it's being wrapped over in, on, company over in Machias. And, so that's when I mentioned to him, please do this. And he said, oh, I forgot. And I said, don't forget. Keep plugging. And, so that's the only thing, you have to do.
That's it.
I think Matt Tabor does have tons of, experience, right? And I think it is gonna be an interesting partnership with sponsors. For them to have already paid $500 for their boards for the 4th of July and then ask the same sponsors to give, again, for sort of the same exact thing. So I wonder how that could be more streamlined and we're just gonna keep asking and asking and asking, right?
Yeah, that's like a recurring donation.
For
There
sure.
are multiple organizations.
Yeah.
And, you're absolutely right. The only good news is they get more for the money. So.
Because then, really Rotary is borrowing their boards that they own. So they paid $500 for 4th of July. Now they own the board and then now they have to pay to put them in for other people to use.
$300.
Yeah.
To get out of that, of the board.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it, there's gonna be a lot of businesses that will say, no, enough is enough. And I have to respect that. So,
All right, let's get, you good? We're gonna get, Eileen, got anything real quick?
Just that, there's a fireside, and I did have lunch with Cindy Ashton, and we're good to go for the help for Corks and Kids. So the volunteers are all signed up, we're on their schedule, so that's good.
What date's the fireside again?
July 10th.
yeah, Wednesday, so Wednesday. Both board meeting,
5:30.
5:30 for the board meeting.
5:30 to 7 and then.
Then the party starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have a room on the dock.
Oh, good.
It'd
Come on, just come on.
be really cool to have some members show up.
All right, Chris, you got anything for international?
It's going pretty good. They're, still again looking for people to sponsor.
kids and scholarships over there. They were like $250 or something, so they're hoping to increase that. I think Lake Stevens has 3 to 5 people that do that sponsorship kind of thing to help a student, stay in school for a year or whatever. So more on that to come, but it's going pretty good.
Okay. Membership, Raquel, you want to report anything on that, or?
Just that people, we just need everybody to pay so that we can concur with the mothership.
How much you're working with, our new, guest here, that,
Yeah. We have a ton of fun. We
Yeah.
won't regret it.
Rand, anything on?
Just thanks to everybody who came out to the farmer's market, with that many people, and they tear down very easy and very fast. I'm very appreciative of that.
We collected, not only the golf balls or the ping pong balls for voting, but people gave donations too. So we have $26. That folks are just so eager to give. So that was fun.
Just as a count, they engaged over 250 people. in
Oh,
this.
did we? Wow.
That's good exposure.
Yeah. All right, James.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. All right, everybody has their raffle tickets, right? They're blue today, and you have the blue. All right, Martin. Wait, that was spot? Pick the winning ticket, read the
Oh,
last 3
pressure.
numbers out loud, nice and loud, last 3 numbers.
6, 8, 7.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, okay.
Right here.
That's only phase 1. Now you get to pick the yellow duck out of there. If it has a W on the bottom, you win this week's pot, which is really big today, I saw.
What, Joe?
Oh, look at that. We do because somebody won recently. There's your consolation prize for not winning. All right. Everybody that's a member has their badge on, yes? Badge, yeah. It is a Bible. I just put it in. Okay, all right. Oh, thank you, ma'am. All right, folks online, we're coming to you real quick. Mr. Councilman, you and Representative, are you happy today? Sam Lowe, come in. Earth to Sam. He's happy, all right. Mr. President.
I'm here.
Sorry, Sam?
Hey, I'm at the Creamery in Mary. I don't think it's open, but just appreciate our Rotary Club. Appreciate the President Don and his leadership, and now President Ron. And it's exciting to be here today.
Did you say you were at the Creamery?
I'm sorry.
I thought you said you were at the Creamery.
I'm at the Creamery in Marysville.
All right.
He said it's not open yet.
Not till 8.
Well, you have at least one excited person here. All right. Mr. President.
Just, happy to get this Rotary year going.
All right. Well, before you know it, it'll be next. Doctor?
Yes, I'm extremely happy for all of those that came to the Rotary Storage cleanup. Here is the $5 bill that was still in the cash box. But thank you very much, Debbie, Chris, Gary, everybody. Rand was awesome.
Looks like a trunk.
Lori.
Charter member, Ms. Bell. Excellent. Glad to have you. Past president. Well, happy to be past president. Happy to have my wife with me today. All right. You like that?
I'm very happy.
I'm excited to be the speaker today. Brought my son Jordan with me. Also wanted to announce that I did schedule another blood drive for Rotary to host on Friday, October 4th. So it's coordinated with the Red Cross and coordinated with this room as well. And I let Rochelle know, since she's in charge of whatever community event. Yeah, I'm feeling great. Thanks.
Specifically happy about it.
Just saying, welcome. I'm glad it's Friday, I'm happy, and it was fun cleaning the shed out, we had to put those things together a couple different times, it was fun.
Your definition of fun sucks.
It's always been on that. All right.
I call them Smiley Burnett. Those of you remember that.
It was a great installation, banquet, so that was really a lot of fun. And, I missed the quick story during the cleanup, because I went to the zoo with my grandson.
Oh.
Sorry, you guys got me.
Yep, happy for the installation dinner and passing the baton here and for the work done and then, I'll work to clean up. Great.
I'm happy today is Friday and I'm so glad that I could bring Yolanda and her husband here to see how the road is going. And I believe that, you know, it's good for them and they're very interested in being part of our Rotary Club.
Excellent.
Thank you.
No pressure on them at all.
Secretary.
First of all, I thought it was a great installation banquet. It was if memory serves me, that was the best attendance that we've had in some time. We've usually done around 40, 45. We had 53 to 55, as I recall, so great event. I'm excited because I have almost all of my family in town. Two granddaughters won't be here, but we have a big thing coming on Sunday. Even say one of the couple of cornhole boards, and we're going to have our own cornhole tournament. And so that's going to be fun. And then putting all those service projects together and finally get them launched. We got one thing left to do, and that's the foundation check that we sent to them in February has not cleared. That would put us up 15 out of 19 requirements. So that should give us a presidential citation. And so Jack and I are working on that right now.
Excellent. Appreciate your help on that. Eileen.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out to the installation banquet. Thank you to Anthony for providing the space and helping set up along with Christine Eaglestead. And thank you to Amelia, who brought your crew, who were amazing. And I'm really glad, right?
Happy to be here and excited to hear the sheriff's address this morning.
My happy buck is for 33 years, that we get to all see and hopefully emulate our, I don't know, so I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's incredible for 33 years of service to our community, and I want all of us to take them to be able to.
Thank you.
Big joints for a while. What an example for all of us. Thank you.
I've been mowed all day, I don't have a bus, but, because I did. I did. But I'm very happy that it's Friday and I am happy I got to spend, part of my day, for farmer's market with Eileen and Ryan and Amy, and Jordan and Chris Smith, who's not with us. But we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of, good communication with the public, even though it was raining at the end and it was kind of, it didn't seem to damper our success of the thing, so I was happy.
Good. Yeah, no, that's fun, so.
And Rand too. Rand was our-
Yeah, me, Rand, and tore down.
He was a heavy lifter and he brought us down.
Right.
He brought us down.
Happy for our speaker and big happy to both Tracy and Gary. Gary was elected president of the Sherwood Board last night. Hey. And Tracy was our new president.
I will let you know, I let my wife know that last night.
I just found out when they knew she wasn't here.
No, but I told her last night before our son and daughter-in-law came to join us for lunch. And And then I kind of got up and walked away for a while.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, great, installation banquet last week. There was a bunch of photographs on our website. Eileen took a bunch, put them on Facebook, Gary took a bunch, they're in the article, and, Joyce, thank you.
First notice down on, was Wednesday morning, at 3 a.m. Once again, we had another accident in front of my house on the corner, and 3 young people that were going too fast on the corner. I got woken up by somebody pounding on the door, a young woman with her head wounds and everything. Called 911, apparently somebody else had already called as well. I didn't see the other 2 people, but, you know, the emergency people there were really fast getting there and took care of everything. But even beyond that, later that day, Snohomish Transit came out and reviewed the area and said they're gonna put in signs finally on this one corner. And we got a tree there that's been hit so many times, but yeah, well, not any accidents, those occurred late in the night, so.
All right, Mr. President. All right, I want to welcome our speaker today, Sheriff Suzanne Johnson. Sheriff Johnson was sworn in Snohomish County on January 2nd as the 33rd. She joined the sheriff's office in 1990 as a patrol deputy. Over a 3-decade career, she rose through the ranks, serving as a canine handler, detective, SWAT squad leader, detective sergeant, lieutenant, patrol captain, and bureau chief of operations. In 2019, she retired from the sheriff's after nearly 30 years of service. In 2020, she got bored and decided to go back to work for the city of Bothell, go Cougars. Iowa police captain before being promoted to deputy chief. Sheriff Johnson is Snohomish County sheriff, and I think he's a local resident of Lake Stephen.
I appreciate you reading that. Now I don't have to cover it.
Yeah.
I appreciate the invite. I am a local resident. I grew up, my dad was a CPA and I lived in Beaverton, in my childhood. And we always did Rotary stuff together. So I'm glad to see you guys are running strong and appreciate the opportunity to just come in and say hello. Any opportunity for me to come talk about the sheriff's office, I love to brag about the work that they do. And just also want to give you an opportunity to field any questions. That was basically my resume. I'm 34 years in, so we're close in public service. We always have love law enforcement, as you guys know, has gotten a little more difficult the last few years, but that's not a horrible thing. We serve the community. We're a part of the community. It's like the social contract, right? You get to decide what kind of food services you want. And for reform and accountability, that's our aim. If we have to do things to build trust, yes, we need to do that. So I often go in front of community groups and say, boy, how horrible the law changes. No, you get the pick. We work for you. And I have to tell you that the people that are coming into law enforcement the last 3 or 4 years, since 2020 and 2021, are amazing. I mean, it is hard. It's hard to recruit because, you know, you used to be able to have people come in regardless of whatever the pay was because it was a service and people felt like they were supporting their community. And the last few years with, in many cases, outright hatred to anybody who wears a uniform makes it difficult, even when these people come in very altruistically, wanting to be part of the community, especially in our communities of color. Try to recruit from our communities of color, and many times those people take it on the chin in those communities, like how dare you cross the line, put a uniform on. So it is a very difficult time, but things have been going really well. And the people that are coming into law enforcement now do understand the rules of engagement. They understand de-escalation. They understand the accountability. They understand the reason for the body worn cameras and the community involvement. So I think we're on a good trajectory. I'm pretty excited, very optimistic. I would be remiss if I don't pause long enough to say, you know, I've been in the area, you know, since 1990, and I've watched the Lake Stevens Police Department over the years. And you guys have an amazing police department right now. You have a great chief, very professional. They're great partners with us, and you know, every agency has highs and lows, and I'm just amazed. I don't think I've ever seen a more professional, well-organized agency than you have right now. And even though the ZISO, I consider him a friend of mine, has nothing to do with that. It's just what has been built over the years. And that comes from mayors and council and commitment of the community. So hats off to you. I don't know if you're interested in me, so I'm here to talk about the sheriff's office. If there's specific questions, that's certainly fine. We're the, fourth largest county sheriff's office in the state. There's 39 counties of, we have the jail, which makes us really big. We also carry 9 contracts. You probably don't care about this stuff, but most of the cities in Snohomish County contract with the sheriff's office. You consider all the cities that are out there, law enforcement is expensive, and we are able to control the oversight. On top of that, we also do the contract at Home Field that we don't do Field Airport. If you haven't, highly recommend it. It is way easier than CDAC. I love to fly that way. Also, community transit. You'll see us expanding into Sound Transit. Sound Transit's coming in the area. Very excited about that. That's the rail system. I think security is really important for transportation and people who want to take mass transit. It's really concerning to get somebody on a bus or on a train smoking fentanyl. What are you going to do if you're stuck between stops? So very important to keep our riders safe. That's a big importance to us, of course. School resource officers, we have several in the county. We did see a dip in some agencies. It's interesting, if you looked at a map of the state of Washington, you put Seattle in the middle. The closer you are to Seattle and King County, the less school resource officers you have. And it's a difference opinion in law enforcement. We don't push having officers or our deputy sheriffs in the schools. It's really dependent on not only the school district or superintendent, but that individual school. In some cases, the students feel safer with a cop on campus. In some cases, they feel less safe with a cop on campus. So we partner with all the schools regardless. It's not if you don't pay for a deputy, we don't support you. Honestly, that is the biggest concern for me. When I rise in the morning or go to bed at night, I worry about our kids in schools. And I worry about the gun violence and, juveniles packing guns and gangs. And we all know that partially because of the protections for juveniles also make them sort of ripe for being given the guns in the gangs, right? Literally, we'll have cases. We've had some shootings where carpools of juveniles will shoot at the police. We make an arrest. One particular example I can think of, we arrested 5. We collected 4 guns, stolen vehicles, and we couldn't get them booked into the youth center. And so you think about that, armed juveniles in a stolen vehicle. And part of the argument at the time is these juveniles did not have any criminal history. There's a point system. And I get the idea of not incarcerating juveniles, totally get that. The argument for us not being able to at least get them in the youth center for the night was that, well, you have the car, right? They can't leave, right? You collected the guns, right? Yeah, we have the guns. And we couldn't say exactly which hand came out the window and shot at us. We couldn't say which one. So ultimately we take them all home. And it's tough. I couldn't be a juvenile nowadays, the pressures, social media. But when you think about the gang activity, which has been obviously it's around and it comes in cycles, is adults generally will run those gangs and they're going to push the drugs, the money, and the criminal activity into because they'll go home at night, right? And so I come back to school resource officers, school resource deputies. There are lots of programs that are effective. I'm not going to pretend to say that, the mentoring is the same as it has been in years past with having cops in schools, but it's still present. The safety component is excellent. You look at Uvalde and others, there's definitely failures out there. If you do a school resource officer correctly, they don't have a set pattern. Students know they're somewhere in the school. You never want to know always where they're at. And it is a deterrence to have those cars out front. So this is a topic that often comes up. That's the only reason I pause at it. Really happy with the contracts we have. Typically for the sheriff's office, the school district picks up 75% of that. And the county council agrees to pick up the other 25%. And that's just because of how the school year works. There's summertime, there's breaks, so 25% of that time we get our deputy back to help us with calls. So that's kind of how that works. I'm not sure, how many students is it offhand? Is it a 50-50? You have school resource officers, right?
Yeah, we
Is it 50-50? Offhand?
correct.
50-50.
Our contract with them.
Yeah, okay, that's excellent. So the sheriff's office overall, like many agencies, we've had struggled in hiring, although that's coming up. That's getting better as it's becoming more attractive again. Corrections is very difficult to hire for. Nationally, this is not specific to Washington or Snohomish County. historically, if somebody was interested in serving in public safety and wanted to be, a part of the cause and serve the community, and they couldn't meet some of the thresholds to be a law enforcement officer, we couldn't go into correction. But because that pool for law enforcement has gotten pretty shallow, anybody that would have been hired for corrections before is probably picking up a job somewhere in law enforcement, somewhere in this country. So that's sort of the struggle. And with their staffing issues, there's quality service issues too, and we recognize that. One of the things I just want to mention in passing is, if you haven't heard or read, the Snohomish County Executive's Office has put forward and asked for ordinance to the county council to put a tax initiative on the ballot. This would go out to the voters. This would be a sales tax. We have enough taxes, I get. It's a public safety sales tax. I'm not here to sell. I just want you to make you aware of it so you can go out and look for information. It's at 0.2%. I think they said average household would be $50 a year. But this is the county solution trying to get public safety up. If I were to advocate for department in Snohomish County, of course, I got to advocate for my folks. This is a prosecutor's office. You see that there's been some gaps in prosecution, and it literally is regarding staffing. So, for example, baseline Snohomish County public prosecuting attorney entry pay. This is somebody that had to go to law school, pass the bar, $70,000 a year. You can go to, as a random example, the Briar Police Department, college degree not required, you get $100,000. And it's not, the jobs are different, but if we require education, and that means we also have debt, right? Schooling is not cheap. So some of the things we're advocating for is to elevate that for Jason Cummings, your current elected county prosecutor. Can't keep prosecutors, of course. You can go do almost any other job as a lawyer. There is, benefits. If you come into public service and you serve for 10 years, you can get that debt removed and you have to pay your bills. So there are some things that are attractive, but we're working hard to get them enough prosecutors to prosecute. Because as frustrating as it is to see crime afoot, when we do make an arrest and refer them, they're not getting charged. And Jason Cummings will tell you this directly. Right now, in district courts are focusing on domestic violence and DUI, not property crime, not thefts. They just don't have the bandwidth, and then they're felonies. So I often come in front of folks when, they want to talk about crime. Overall, our crime is better. Our crime stats are coming down. Violent crime is coming down. All those things are edging in the right way, so that's a good thing. But our challenges are not only just, staffing and prosecution and post-COVID, but we also had an experiment in Washington State where we legalized drugs basically for 2 years, and that's legal possession. And I get it. I'm not here to advocate one way or the other. You stop any cop on the street today, and I would be challenged if you didn't have them tell you we'd rather people get treatment than incarceration for use. Traffickers are a whole nother thing. They need to go to jail forever, in my opinion. But users, it's an addiction. We get that. We understand that more now. It's a disease requiring treatment. So for those that don't know, it's a blatant decision, and decisions that we had made as a state, instead of making it criminal, that it was self-directed treatment. And so we tried that for a couple of years. Didn't work. I mean, it's an addiction. We get it. So now we're able to make arrests for that. The ability to make those arrests were narrowed a little bit in the law. We used to be able to arrest for paraphernalia and other things to make that arrest. I'm an advocate for that. I hear it's a sick thing, but it's an addiction. People won't self-refer their drug problem because they're just trying to maintain and not feel sick. So personally, I'm glad we're at the position now we can make those arrests, and you should know if you're an advocate as well for treatment, the very first arrest, again, these are just possession, they get to go to treatment. That's our first option. And if they go to treatment, they're not felonies anymore, it won't be on their record. So there's lots of opportunity through the system to try to get people off the drugs and contributing members of our society. I think that's really important. When people look at us now, really frustrated with law enforcement, like, what are you doing about the drug? We're trying. I mean, it's like the gun went off in the raid and we were told to stay on there for 2 years, and now we're back in it. So we're trying very hard. I worked narcotics and in fact undercover for about 8.5 years. And the plain and simple truth of narcotic investigations is you roll people. So if we would catch somebody in possession of fentanyl, which of course is the worst drug we've ever seen, cheapest, horrific, fatal, worst case scenarios. But if we had caught somebody in possession, oftentimes they could provide us the name of their dealer for a lesser charge or lesser time. We weren't doing that for 2 years. So there's this sort of void in us catching up on dealers. We were catching them. We have a drug task force in this region that is exceptional in the state of Washington. But there's some work to do. And if I were to pick one area, that's the biggest impact, obviously, is drugs, and we'll continue to work on it. But we're in a pretty good place because now some of these laws are coming back, pursuit laws, we can do a little more apprehension. I think as the pendulum goes, we're better suited to make those arrests now than we were in the last few years. And, hiring is coming up, which is great. We just need to, work on the corrections and some other, except the sheriff's office, but that's the general stuff I just wanted to share. I can talk about other stuff. I don't know when you're done, but I do want to open up for questions. If there's things you wanted to talk about, I want to absolutely provide that opportunity. Any questions? Oh, yeah.
I got one, you may or may not know these details, but, what, services does Lake Stevens contract, with the sheriff's department?
That's a great question. So almost every agency contracts with us for police services, Lake Stevens is the exception. But there is some services we do provide, and that is search and rescue. We do that by statute. So if you have, whether it be, you can have a runaway or a small child that's missing, dementia patient, any of those where even in like the city, there's a walk-off. Lake Stevens Police Department will start off with that call, but if they need, tracking dogs, they need the helicopter up, any of those services to go find that person, that's the sheriff's office responsibility, so we'll come and do that. It's not a charge, it's a service we provide. And then all the civil functions, which, what is that? Those are writs of restitution, repletion, execution. So if you sue somebody, you go to court, and you get to start taking their stuff to remedy that lawsuit, that's the sheriff's office comes in and does that. If you're a property owner and you're gonna evict somebody, you go through the court process, that's the sheriff's office that comes in. So all those civil functions belong with the sheriff's office. But in Lake Stevens, all the other police services you provide.
Like including like detective services?
Yeah, no, detectives, we have a relationship for SWAT. We have a regional SWAT team and we're contributing to that, which is a great force multiplier for you. Instead of trying to have 10 guys and gals on the team, all trained up to do marksman, negotiating and entry, that sort of thing. They're part of a regional team, so they provide a couple people, so you have lots of good services that way. So it's a nice force multiplier for relationships. Yeah.
That there was a school event. Yeah. What's the order of first responders? You said there's an officer.
Well, that's a great question. So if there's an incident in a school and there's a school resource officer or deputy, of course, they're going to know immediately. In fact, they'll probably know before the call makes it out to 911 and then to our dispatch center to broadcast. The turnaround time and communications and 911 has really sped up over time. And many of the schools also have alert systems on their cell phones. So employees can get the notifications, many of the schools have that. So if you're in the opposite end of the school or in the gymnasium and something's going on in the office, you'll get it on your phone. And then there's also PA. But for police response, that goes out over the airway. Everybody's coming. Everybody's coming. And that's not just every law enforcement officer like in Snohomish County, but you'll get some Skagit, you get some King. When we had one in Marysville, we had Marysville High School, we had DEA and FBI, and folks I didn't even know listen to our radio, showing up. And it's for us, I mean, there's a whole system set up for that. We got to make sure people are marked. Like I would never walk into a scene like this and have to have a vest, so I have to be really well marked. Last thing you want is somebody coming around the corner where you can't tell them I have a gun in my hand, right? So when we get multiple jurisdictions like that, what we're putting out is if it's an active shooter. But in this state, you wouldn't see any ball. No way. Because it's the first person there, they're going. So they're going to communicate on the radio where they're going. But as other people come, once the active shooter's done, they're going to have a rally point where they're going to track how many people are going into that building. So not just track folks. But it's we get the call a lot, surprisingly. Somebody who was next to a school and I think I just heard a shot. And we get a lot of them that are, And so we get a lot of practice in it, we're rolling and we like the real thing, but we do a lot of training in this area. Yeah, thanks for that question.
I actually had that, I think I heard a shot recently, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, call on those, right? If you're not sure, call. I mean, some people are always afraid. I've talked to people who want to, wait the weekend on a non-emergency because I think I saw this or I heard that, or there was a woman screaming, unfortunately, over the years, I've gone to homicide and stuff, and they'll do the canvas after a homicide, somebody's dead in the house, I'm like, oh yeah, we heard screaming 2 nights ago at 2 in the morning, but we don't, we know you're busy, we didn't want to call 911, no, always call. We will triage that, right? If it's the neighbor's bike is missing, or assault and progress, it'll just sit on the screen, we'll prioritize, you don't have to worry about that. You think it's not important, we'll be prioritize that, so it's called.
No, I was just saying when she asked her about like, if there's something at the schools and stuff, my social studies teacher like showed us the app where she just opens it up, presses the button, and then like the whole school just shuts down. And all the doors lock, or there's, and then they like say stuff or they look and whatever. In my old school, there were these like huge doors where if there was a lockdown, they would shut so that whoever's like trying to cause harm can't move around the building at all.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think, I don't want to speak for everybody else, and I feel bad for, the things that kids have to deal with as part of the educational process, how stressful that must be. We do lean on experts, and I'm certainly not one of them, that talk about, where there's fear, the best way for any human to deal with fear is to take control. And part of that is having tools and training, so like, what to do in that moment. And maybe it's scary and frustrating if we share at home. If this is what I'm gonna do, but over time, they say, you having that control and knowing is better than that fear of not knowing, or us not being able to sit down and have that conversation with you. Although it is really rare. These things happen, very rare. But the false alarms for the teachers in the lockdowns does happen, and that we recognize that causes stress. And just like when we were talking about a 911 call, where somebody thinks they heard the shot, so we all come. That's practice for us, and those are practices for you, but sorry you have to go through that. So,
What kind of recommendation do you have? You see the news all the time that some people come off the street and come into the store and take some food and some beer and all that, and they leave and you call, and the triage is number 4 on the list, so nobody shows up. So how does somebody like that as a citizen, or a homeless person's cutting through your backyard all the time, how do you, as a citizen, get involved to stop that because the police don't show up?
yeah, so, and this is now the emotional trauma and toll on our community, right? Seeing the theft, seeing the blight, seeing people take advantage, is our own community trauma, right? We want to do something. So my answer to anything that's property crime is make the call, and as appropriate, you're able to, without putting yourself in risk. Oh, I saw that person walk the block and got to this place car. I always am very cautious about surveilling or taking pictures because we don't want to show you. If it's property and it's not physical harm that's threatened right now, do nothing. Do not intervene. Because let's walk that forward. They intervene in a shoplifter who I just mentioned, they're not getting charged with that crime. And it doesn't mean, one perspective might be, if I hold them account here, at least they're being held to account for something. But your life and welfare certainly is not worth it, right? And it's unfortunate in the stack of things. I know you want to say something, sorry. Sorry.
I'm listening.
Yeah, no, so we want to know about them, give them to us. You never know. Sometimes we have a deputy or an officer right around the corner. We're able to, and we do catch those.
Yeah.
We do take them to jail. We get that satisfaction even if they don't ever do time for it. There's a track record, there's printed, there's a photograph. Homeless cutting through there. We want to know about that. We have homeless teams, outreach teams, and resources. And, we'll offer them resources. We'll do things for them. And then if they're not accepting those, we can take them to jail. We can take them to jail for trespass, especially if you got a person in your community that's been using a green belt or otherwise not making your home safe, we'll address those. It is
I
frustrating.
do understand that soon as there's a block watch or whatever, connected with the police.
Absolutely, Block Watch or Neighborhood Watch, they are great. And they're great resources for us, and also when you have those Block Watch captains, we'll push out information to you, like if we're having a problem with the red truck that we've seen in the store, be aware, and if somebody else knows to fight on it, yeah, those are great partnerships.
Cool, awesome, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So,
I step out, you may have covered this, but I'm really interested in, I hear a lot of reactive work that you guys are doing, so thanks for giving us the time to come in today and share that. I'm really interested in, probably look at our mayor, like what can we do to provide the necessary coaching about early development, maybe at the early stages of teenagehood, to better support our kids, because we're not gonna invest in our kids today. My kids are 30. My grandkids, though, is who I want to invest in their kids, right?
Sure.
How do we, and I know there's probably programs, but how do we collectively support your organization or council, right? On teaching our kids for the prevention stage. What are we doing in the prevention stage? Proactively in our communities, right? Maybe you can share some thoughts on that. And how do we get involved, right?
sure, so that's a great question, I appreciate that, because we always should be looking at the future, right? What are we doing about kids today, not only to make them comfortable and not fearful, but also respectful of each other and not breaking the law. Some of the, I was looking at some of the stuff that you represent, schools, churches, places of faith, the golden rule, all those things, that imprinting when kids are kids is so important. And that is actually the best thing you can do, what's right and wrong. We will find, literally, we'll get 911 calls, my 8-year-old out of control, come do something with them. I don't know, I mean, what we can do in 10 minutes that you failed to do in years. But it is about parenting and being involved and keeping your kids occupied. It is more challenging now, of course, than it ever has been before, because they get on their phone, they're gaming, and you have strangers in the room. So the outside influence is terrifying. So the things that we've done in the past still ring true today. As much as you can have in-person positive influence, like sports, camps, what are they doing after school? Who are they hanging out with? And accountability. Please teach your kids and grandkids accountability. And that's where we're having these problems. You have these kids that are stealing these kids. They're 13 and 14 years old. And the courts want us to put them back with the parents who has their own stuff going on. And I don't have time for this, right? This is where we're finding the challenges frequently. And it's tough for parents too, right? Look at housing, look at the cost of living. Many people are working 2 or even maybe 3 jobs if they have side hustles. And so many parents are trying the best they can as well, trying to keep their kids active. Boys and girls clubs are good. If I were to put community time and effort, it would be in whatever our community events are or programs are for kids. And keeping them. There's no new magical sauce on that other than sitting down, having conversations, and when they do something wrong, hold them accountable. You'd be shocked at some of these teenagers, just nobody held them accountable. There's no. They won't take away they won't do anything with them. And that's where they really run amok.
Yeah, I was good. Kyle, do you have something to add? Kyle, works at our junior high school.
Oh, Kyle probably doing this every day.
He is, yeah, he's living it.
No, I will say that I do definitely agree with Sheriff Johnson, because I'll tell you, right now, I think the biggest focus in education really is the mental health part is the biggest piece. And when I worked in Yakima as a police officer in Arlington, it was the mental health things that were the ones that were mostly affecting the reason why we were showing up to a call. It wasn't necessarily that it was, and everyone has their own crisis. It's not, whether big or small, it's how you perceive it. And I think here in education, it's a lot of it is the focus on family and talking to your kids, explaining to them what the challenges that they're seeing, but also recognizing when someone's seeking help and they're acting out. It's a form of behavior, but it's a form of communication. They're identifying this is what's wrong, and this is how I'm seeking support, whether it's the appropriate way or not. And for us, it's really that focus on the mental health piece and the social emotional and identifying, hey, this is what we need to realize, and hey, this is okay to feel this way. And these are the ways we can use our outlets and more for good than bad. So I know that's something that we've been working on a lot, but I will tell you from working in Yakima, we had a lot of MHP mental health professionals out there that I worked with that they're available all the time. And I think working in Snohomish County, they're doing the same thing. And I think that's really the important part here is even our law enforcement officers that are going through the academy now that are helping our students that are SROs. It's all about the heart of a guardian mindset type thing where we're basically focused on the supporting someone so we don't have a cycle anymore, that continuous behavior. And I know that's what we're trying to focus on in schools. We don't have a DARE program anymore. I mean, that worked in the 90s when I was in school. But right now, I think we're looking at trying to figure out how do we build that kind of same mindset within our schools to support our kids.
Well said, Kyle. That was awesome. And this point on mental health, thank you so much, because, I mean, we've always seen mental health right now in this regard since post-COVID. And we do have MHPs and PCRs out in the field that work a lot with our law enforcement, just like our social workers that we've been doing for about almost 10 years now. And also same resources are in the jail. So if somebody is taken into custody now, with mental health professionals actually in the jail, as well as doctors and nurses and people that deal with their medical papering off their drugs. So lots of support there. That was great, Kyle.
I guess I was just gonna, ask, is there a resource officer on campus at CAV?
Yes.
I think you're right.
There is.
Yeah, we have 2 resource officers. So the one at Caballero is Officer Josh Kilroy, who actually is working on his social worker degree because he actually wants to be working mental health as well down the road. Not necessarily, he wants to stay in law enforcement, but he likes the mental health side of things. And we have Officer David Carter that works here at the high school where I'm at today.
I'm sorry, you just sparked something. Being new, I'm not gonna put anybody in the spot, but boy, that sounds like, for those people going above and beyond to learn more about how to address this social, I'll use just social behaviors in the public setting. Are we supporting them through any type of financial aid? Yes, we are. Oh, good. Thank you.
If you want to better yourself at Lake Stevens, we will push you to do it.
Thank you.
It's 8:35. So I imagine you want to do that. Anything else for me? Thank you.
Thank you for your.
All right, we'll wrap that up. Thanks, everybody.
Take 35 minutes. Right. Your comment, is